So welcome to Statistics in the spring of 2021, in the time of COVID. Lots of interesting things going on right now. So I published the Canvas course late last night. Usually I try to publish it sooner, but I switched to a new book and it involved quite a bit of rearranging. And let's see, I gotta adjust my screens a little bit so I can see everybody. Canvas gives me, not Canvas, Zoom gives me a little ding dong every time somebody comes or goes. And I see Tammy just joined. Welcome, Tammy.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. So this is the course homepage in Canvas, and pretty much the course runs from this page. You may be used to using Canvas and looking at a list of assignments, or just looking at the to-do list, or from your dashboard, but I highly recommend you come here to do stuff. There's a little section in the top called general stuff. So there's the Zoom link here for this class that meets 10 to 11:40 on Monday and Wednesday, and then a link to my office hours, which are Tuesday, Thursday at 10, Monday, Wednesday at 2. All of that is also listed in the syllabus. So please read the syllabus soon. It talks about the course policies. I'm really not going to go over that today. And then there's a syllabus quiz that you ought to take just to confirm a few of what I thought the important facts from the syllabus were. You're going to do a lot of writing in this class. You're going to do almost no algebra. So if you loved algebra, I'm sorry, we're really not going to do any. We'll do a little arithmetic in here, and we're going to do a lot of spreadsheet stuff, but we're really not going to do any algebra. Algebra is a requirement though, because some of the ideas we're playing with are pretty heavy, and the more math experience you have, the better you will cope with the stuff we're going to play with in this course. We're going to do some really awesome stuff. So this is just a little information about what I expect from you about writing in this class. So every week you're going to write to me about stuff. Some useful websites, we'll get to some of those today. I'll have you do a spreadsheet assignment almost every week. I prefer that you use Google Sheets, and so here's some information with sharing with Google, and I'll demonstrate that today. There's also a statistics lab that is optional, but you might think about taking it. Actually, I'm gonna click on that link. So these are some old labs that I did. Usually I use spreadsheets in the lab like I do in class. The point of the lab is a couple of things. Sometimes students are switching from a quarter school to a semester school. And if you do that, this 4-credit class may not be enough credits to transfer to a semester school, and you would need 1 more credit for that to happen. So if you know you're transferring to a semester school instead of a quarter school, then you should think about taking the lab. Other students are switching to a university that has a 5-credit stats class instead of a 4-credit stats class, in which case you would need that extra credit from the lab. Other universities have a requirement that students use a statistical programming language. And so that's another reason you might need the lab. So for example, Oregon State Universities has a requirement for many technical and scientific degrees like biology and forestry and a bunch of others, that the statistics class the students have had a programming component to it. Now, I personally believe using a spreadsheet is sufficient for programming stuff. We'll see that over the next couple weeks. But often schools use a statistical language called R to work with data. And if you ever get a job in the future where you're going to work with some data, R is a very popular tool that people use because it's a free statistical tool. Compared to things like SPS or Minitab, which are very expensive, but a lot of businesses buy those tools. Other reasons people take the lab course is they just want more practice to really get this stuff, because some of the ideas are pretty deep and they take quite a bit of work. I find a lot of students are just fine on their own studying extra hard with the regular course material, that they don't need the lab. But if you want extra time with me doing math, the lab is a good thing to do. So think about it. If you want to take it, it's Math 298. You have till the end of the week to enroll. The lab meets every Friday at 10 a.m. So if you just want to come check out the lab this week and then decide after, that's fine. If you have any questions about the lab, please let me know now or in the future. All right, back to the home page. Again, this is important. The class revolves around the home page, so there's important information here that you need to check out. And if you just go to, say, the to-do list, you might miss things like the data collection survey that we're going to get started on today, or the videos, which I have yet to fill in for week 1, because chapter 1 of this new book is quite a bit different than chapter 1 of the last book. So I will fill in that today and tomorrow. So every week has a similar setup. The labs are recorded, yes. And if there's enough people that are interested in the lab but can't make that time, I would be glad to schedule another time for people to do the lab with me. It could be in my office hour, or we could make up a new time. So I love doing this stuff. I think it's a blast. And so if you need another time to meet with me to do it, I'll do what I can to schedule that. I also think T and math go well. All right, so each week will be set up pretty similar. I'll have the goals of the week based on the sections that we're covering in the book. This is important. Also, whereas in an algebra class, you probably never opened the book. In this class, you got to read the book. I will do similar stuff to what's in the book, but I won't use the same examples necessarily. Sometimes they have a wicked cool example in the book and I can't help but bring it up in class, but usually I come up with other examples that are similar. To be successful in a class like this, you should do at least 3 things. 1, read the book every week. Try to read the section before we cover it. So this week, if you check out the syllabus, let's do that just for a second. We'll come back. So this is just a quick orientation to how the course is set up, and then we'll do some math shortly. I have a weekly schedule here about how I'm covering things. So this week we're covering chapter 1, which is sections 1, 2, and 3, and then section 2.1, and these are the main topics there. So the course wasn't published until last night, so you didn't get a chance to read the book unless you already bought it, and hopefully you did buy the book already. If you didn't, you definitely need to get it this week, otherwise you're going to miss out on a lot of important stuff that will help you get your assignments done successfully. So for example, I'm going to cover sections 1, 2, and probably get into a little of 1, 3 today. And the next class, I'll review some of that and cover section 2, 1. So if possible, it'd be a good idea to start reading section 2, 1 before the next class. So anytime you can read the book ahead of time, you're always going to benefit, because then I start talking about it in class. So if it didn't quite make sense when you read it in the book, maybe in class it starts to ring a bell. And then after class, you do some homework, so you're hitting these ideas 3 times in a row. Read the book before class, come to class, see what I have to say about it, and then you start working on the homework assignments. All right, so as far as homework goes, there'll be at least 3 assignments each week, and they come in 3 different forms. So there's practice problems, which you can just repeat over and over and again, like you've seen in other math classes. There's a reading quiz, which you shouldn't do until after you've attended the lectures or watched the lectures and read the book. And you only get 1 shot at those questions. With the practice questions, you get pretty much unlimited tries, 3 at a time. So if you get a question wrong 3 times in a row, after the 3rd try, it shows you the answer, and then you get a new version of the question to try again. The reading quiz, again, you get 1 shot on those questions. You should wait till towards the end of the week to do that. And then the application problem is going to be something that's a little more interesting, a little more challenging, and that's always going to require a document. So either you're going to write something up in a Google Doc and or a Google spreadsheet, and then you're going to submit your work as a Google Doc or spreadsheet. And I will show how to do that today. And so sometimes there'll be a few other things in there, like if you're not familiar with sharing a Google Doc, here's some information on how to do that. Oops. Writing about quantitative information, again, you're going to do some written responses here, and this talks about what I expect from you in terms of those written responses. Yeah, so the 3 things I expect to be successful in a course like this is to read the book ahead of time, if possible, attend class or watch the lectures after, and you should take notes on both, the reading the book and attending class. And then the 3rd thing is right after doing the homework. So if you read the book and check out the lectures and do the homework in a timely manner, you will succeed in this class. I've never had a student that did those 3 things on time and didn't pass. Okay, so keep that in mind. I will keep reminding people of that in the future. You can see week 2 here is pretty similar. I have the goals, videos, practice, quiz, application. I mentioned earlier, and there's a note at the top, that I switched books. And so the beginning of the course is a little bit different than it was last year. So I'm having to remodel a bit. So this quiz doesn't exist yet. There's no questions in it, but there will be there soon by this weekend. And I'm still playing around with which version of the application. Maybe we'll do 2 applications next week. We'll see. So this week's kind of an easy week, easing into stuff, and then we kind of pick up the pace a little bit next week with that work. But again, it's the goals are kind of a summary of what's in the book, and then videos past or present about the material. Usually they're me, but sometimes there's some other teachers I really like that teach this stuff, and they have good videos, and I'll put them in there sometimes too. Okay, so let's see what else about the orientation to the course. Oh, this water cooler thing here, that's just a place for you guys to post stuff. I will not be poking my head in the water cooler. But if you are trying to make a study group with other people, if you are stuck on some problem and you want to talk to somebody about it, you can write a question in there about the problem you're working on. So that's just the student place for you guys to chat and mingle online, because we're not on campus at the moment. Speaking of being on campus though, I just got vaccinated. I'm very excited about that. And so with the lab, I will probably open that up to whoever wants to attend in person, and it'll be a combination in person and live. And if you do want to meet with me in person, that is possible. I'm in Pendleton, Oregon at the BMCC campus pretty much every day of the week. And we can set up an appointment. You would just have to mask up and assure me that you don't have COVID at the moment to the best of your ability, so that we can all stay safe. Let's see, so that's for you to write to each other. For you to write to me about stuff, you have the Canvas inbox where you can write to me. And then in the practice problems, there should always be a link with each problem that says message instructor. And when you click that link, what happens is you get to type to me your question. Like, you tried this and something went wrong and you're not sure what went wrong. So you would write to me, hey, I tried this problem, this is what I did, blah, blah, blah. And then you would send it to me, and then I would respond to you. You will know I responded to you when up in the right corner of any assignment, this messages will have a little red, hey, you got mail thing right there. The message instructor attached to the practice problems is different than the Canvas inbox. It's a different mail system. So you have regular email to write to me through, you have the Canvas inbox to write to me, and then you can write to me from any particular question that you're working on. So if there's something you're just not getting, maybe there wasn't the video to go with it. A lot of them do have videos, and what was in the book wasn't helping and the lecture wasn't helping, and you got it wrong like 4 or 5 times in a row, definitely message me. On any one of these problems, you shouldn't spend more than 5 minutes on them. So if you're stuck on this one question for half an hour, you should have messaged me sooner. So again, I'm here to help you. Make sure you take advantage of those tools to get in touch. Okay, so that is the intro. Next, we have the start of statistics.